Test. What's up, douchebags? If I did this right, then we're recording. If not, I'll probably post it anyways. So, before I go into it, I think I have the best solution ever. You know what I'm gonna do? One for spring, one for summer, one for fall, and one for winter. And I'm gonna eat them today. I'm gonna eat my whole year's allowance worth of ramen today. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, I just remember back when I gave a fuck, and before she had become a stupid thief. Steals from kids to make smut. She was bothering me. I was like, "You're eating that? Show me what you're eating. You're eating that? You know how unhealthy ramen is?" Well, yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap as shit. Like, six of those ramens cost less than like one of these donuts. Ah, bro, I'm happy as fuck because I told you all we're gonna trend down with crypto. We have to. Nothing's been fixed. Everyone's broke. I've been looking at what a lot of other people are saying who are experts. I don't view it as listening to them. I view it as listening to people who have already done more research than me and then making an informed opinion of my own based on what they have said. I don't even know their names, but basically, the people who are I'm more or line in agreement with the people who are saying we're in some kind of like or we're in the beginnings of some kind of like a staged crash, and then afterwards, and that's going to be to force the um, Fed to cut rates because I think we're at 4.2 on the rates right now. You got to tighten. You can't have like 20% interest rates. It's a little too much, right? But according to that bill thingamajiggy that Trump is doing, the one that spends even more money than Biden, and Biden spent more money than Trump, and Trump spent more money than Obama, and Obama spent more money than Bush, and Bush spent more money than Clinton, blah, 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 blah. It's all a fucking show, right? Politics is like the new church now. You're like, don't forget to pray to Joe Biden. Don't forget to pray to Donald Trump. Did you pray to Obama today? Why don't you light a candle at the altar of Bush? That's what all that bullshit is. So, but they all spend money. So they're gonna need to cut their rates. The only way they're gonna cut rates is if there's a crisis of some kind, and they don't want pandemic shit. So I think China is already or is starting to dump the like $40 trillion they have, or something like that. Or their economy is also fucked. Everyone's fucked. So they're gonna have to cut rates and give out free money. And I was saying, God, 5 years ago now, before that stupid horror is bothering me. According to feng shui, by about 2033 or something like that, give or take, is going to be the new era. And I think we're we're in like the wood era and we're going into like the earth era or some bullshit like that. And what it means is we're gonna go back to gold and silver. But to do that, they gotta wash all the money. They're gonna use crypto as a balance sheet for that shit. So they're gonna print a whole bunch of money. They're gonna issue it. We're gonna have that boomerang effect where it takes a whole year to go through everything and then come back. That's why after a year of interest rates going up, I mean coming down, we always have all-time highs because you can't just put the money in the bank because then inflation is going to eat it. So you got to put it in high risk, high reward assets like crypto. When it spikes, you sell and you wait for the crash. That's basically what they're doing. That's how they're like washing all the dough as much as possible. And then when it gets to a point where it's clean enough and they've like cooked the books enough to where like only certain people went to prison and other people didn't go to prison and all that bullshit because celestial kingdom and all that bullshit, right? Then they'll be like, okay, well, we issue silver and gold now as money again. And the way you buy silver, like I'm telling you, I feel like every silver that I got, I was getting ripped off now because of all the fucking extra taxes they have on it. Like silver is $30 an ounce. You can buy a silver eagle, but you got to pay premiums and you got to pay taxes and you got to pay blah blah. And now it's $52 an ounce. You're like, what? What the fuck is this? I thought it was $30 an ounce. And then you go to sell it. They're like, well, you're selling it and blah 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 blah. We got to sell it too. So though it says it's $30 an ounce, we'll give you 22. Fucking asshole. Anyways, so that's why I think they're gonna cut rates at some point, and then 1 year from that is when we'll have massive alt season new gains, and that's what I've been waiting for. I've had a fucking boner for that since 2021, because back then I was committed to doing Walden Pond because I did not at all agree. And look, this is the thing. I really don't want to get political. I just don't want America to be overthrown. Like you can say whatever you want to say. Like did it not seem like there was some kind of anti-American, let's get rid of America thing going on for a while? I'm anti that. I want lower taxes. I don't give a fuck about much of the other bullshit. Just go over there. Let me stack my crypto. Stupid whore. Fucking yelling at me. I don't care about Instagram. I used to use Instagram. I had when I did have that Instagram for that little bit of time. Oh yeah, Antonia Vasilichenko. What's up, Antonia Vasilichenko? God damn, I forgot all about you. As soon as I got Instagram, that bitch just appeared in my feed. Wow, yeah. I don't know where that came from. Uh, but no, I'm just happy as fuck that crypto's going down because I want to get more of it. So if we have a staged crash, we're probably gonna go down to like 50 cent or below theta. God, below 10 cents would be just awesome. So I just remember the last time they cut rates to zero was May 2020. Then I started stacking in September of 2020 because I wanted to support that video game tournament and provide them with bandwidth. And then by by May of 2021, we had $16 theta, and it was at like 50 cents when I started buying it. So, like, go ahead and cut the rates. I'm totally go ahead, cut the rates. That's fine. What was it? What did Euchariah say to the Grinch's Halloween? Like, do your worst, I will not flinch. Yeah, that was Biden. Holy shit. Dude, I was going over things. Like, fuck that stupid whore. She's like the least of my problems. I remember, like, the job that I had when I made that million. which I should have cashed out, and then the market crashed. Like that's the other thing. That's the reason why I didn't mind really like we'll just call it gambling with it. Like I knew some crazy bullshit was gonna happen, but I was like, I already lost 1 million. What's this, right? We'll just wait for the next one, which that was the plan. That was the plan in the first place, anyways. But um, I remember like I'm going through shit and I found the email where it's like because President Biden implemented some new blah 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 blah. If you do not get um the thingy or submit to weekly testing, you cannot you have to like leave the contract. And I was like, what? That's bullshit. I was like, it's a good thing I made all this crypto. And I was like, it would be even more Walden Pond. What if I don't cash it out and test myself and my endurance, not let money change me, right? That I'm assuming that really pissed off that stupid whore because I won't go into that. And then so I started looking for new jobs, and I even took that job working for that stupid douche who was like, I hired you to solve all my problems, but I'm going to tell you about them just before we go into the meeting. And I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't even draft out like a response. Fuck are you doing, asshole? And then the dude who was like his second in command was like, trust me, you don't want to get trapped here. Go back to what you were doing. And I was like, I will go back to what I was doing. And then that stupid whore just bothered me, and I just if she would have not gotten kids involved, you don't understand. Like, you do not understand. Like, basically what I think happened, and it's neither confirmed nor denied. Because if it wasn't something like this, she would have said something other than just like spam me and try to annoy me and shit like that. Basically, she's bankrupt. Forever One was her idea because I didn't even know Tiffany Young had a solo career. I knew her as Tiffany Wank from Girls' Generation. So she basically promised to do a bunch of smut in advance if they would front her the dough for Forever One. Then she basically stole my money so she could pay off her debt to Transparency Artists because I still don't know if she was actually dating Kevin Nish or if she was just saying that to try to piss me off because I specifically remember that when I met her in 2018, she told me she only had a friend, which could mean she was in a relationship and while we were fooling around. And then I think I saw her again at the slide bar dive thingy before they became dive. Um, but she was hanging out with some fat bitches who I think are some of the accounts that hate me. Um, so I didn't spend too much time talking to her. And then that's when I met that Caribbean bitch, and I made out with her, and we started fooling around. And she told me she was like, as I was getting my fingers wet, she told me she was married, and I was like, I don't want that karma and all that bullshit. And I said that in a video if she was only engaged, that would be different because marriage is like they have to leave the marriage and it has to be totally done. And then if there's kids, it's all that bullshit. So I was like, I don't want to even deal with that. But if it's engaged, then it's fair game. Because then the next time I saw her was in March, and she was like, "Hi, hi, this is my fiance. We've been engaged for 3 years." And I think she was just doing that to try to like get me to like fight for her and all that bullshit. But I didn't. I was just like, "Oh, okay. Do you want to smoke this with me?" Not you, you're a loser. You get the fuck out of here. And all that bullshit. And she started asking me a whole bunch of questions. Holy shit! Yeah, then she started asking me a whole bunch of questions and made me think she was some kind of a spy, and I wasn't wrong. Stupid fucking political parties. If I would have not met her at that first party, I would have never thrown the other ones. Holy shit. I thought she was just some regular Asian bitch. And all this crazy bullshit happened. So fucking annoying. Like, the only reason why I even did it, because I remember, I was like, well, everything's crashed. We're probably going to move sideways for a few years minimum because those giant spikes, yeah, like the boiler shit I was saying. So what they're doing with the economy, instead of having like austerity, they're having like austerity light. Every few cycles, They'll go and then they'll be like, okay, now we're gonna crash everything, and then we're gonna hide all the bad money in crypto. Crypto's gonna go way up. We'll sell it, blah blah blah, move things around, cook the books as much as we can. Next few years will be bullish again. So instead of like everything going to zero, it just goes way down and people start pumping crypto. So that's what it's going to be for at least the next 10 years, and then they're going to start talking about gold and silver as real money. Like they're laying the legal framework for it now, but you can't implement it yet. So shit like that is what I was saying. So it's like a boiler because there's a pressure relief valve. Every time it gets too much pressure, then they let off some steam. Pew, right? And then the pressure comes down, right? That's what they're doing with the economy. They're like, okay, everything's crashing, cut the rates, crypto goes up, sell it. All right, raise the rates again. That was the austerity. So they're doing that. So like I knew I had like plenty of time. And actually I was even looking at it, man. Holy shit. In September of 27 of 2023, I had already made back everything that stupid whore had stolen, borrowed, whatever. I was just so bummed out that my dog died. That's really what it was. And then my dad, so I took a year off. Holy shit. I'm just gonna do it again. This is what it is. I'm just happy that crypto is going back down because I said specifically we're gonna go up, down, up again, and start to trend down because all the crazy. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is starting to be bought by institutions now, which is another reason why I think they're just gonna swap it for gold. I don't get into it. I don't care. That's like 10 years from now. Should you buy Bitcoin? Yes. I think Bitcoin will see some, I mean, if you want to, but I like the alts more. Bitcoin still doesn't really do anything. Theta is bandwidth, so I like Theta and T Fuel. I'm a little pissed off. I almost got some SUI, whatever it's called, and I was like, no, let me get some more T Fuel. And then SUI went from like $1 to $3, and I was super pissed. But that's a whole other story. All right, anyways, peace out.